Okay, Rob, thanks for showing up. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And I'm very excited to do the interview with you because we have done the seminar once.
Yeah.
And I must say, I was a bit skeptical,
Hmm.
because as a regression hypnotherapist, I always look for the root cause to
Yeah.
resolve it. And but you have been recommended by Sean Michael Andrews, and I thought I'll give it a try. And I must say, even the method you will describe as only seemingly suggestion therapy, I was impressed. It's to the point. It's in a very short time, highly effective techniques, one after another, and very effective suggestion strategies. And you tell the subconscious mind that it should do what it needs to do to resolve the problem. So uh, I'm looking forward to seeing you again. But it's best if you describe the method. If you had to describe the seminar in one sentence or two, what is it about?
It's actually about keeping it as simple as possible. That's a bit of my goal, the art of simple hypnosis. And the good thing with this protocol is that once you know the blueprint, once you know the outline, you can actually work with whatever issue, even if it's an issue or a goal that you never worked with or you never heard about even. With asking only like a few questions, you can start doing a session because you always have that blueprint in your mind, and that's what makes it for me something that's extra valuable for hypnotherapists.
Okay, it's not a technique or method for this or this or this problem. You can apply it to all the
Yeah.
problems.
That's actually it's actually the protocol the first protocol that I ever learned, and it's also the first protocol that I will teach my newbie students in Belgium. So when I do my certification training, that's actually the protocol that's inside the certification training because it's easy to learn once you understand it, and once you start using it, you will see that you can, of course, you can adjust it, you can make it your own way, and I think that's really important. But once you have that blueprint in your system, once it becomes second nature, you can just do whatever session for whatever topic without too much preparation. And one of the things that I really, and that's my way of working, I don't like to have too much information of the client. I don't want history. I don't want whatever happened with them in the past. What I need to know is what is the issue at the moment and what do you want instead. Of course, I will ask a few more questions and then I can go immediately to a session. And one of the things that makes this protocol so valuable for me is when I do a session. At the moment, I only work online because I'm traveling so much. But when I do an online session, because you don't have people coming in anymore and going out, you save time there. But when I do a session at the moment, when I do it online, it will last like half an hour, not longer. That's how long I'm online with the client. That has to do with the fact that I don't do any pre-talk in the therapy room anymore, something that I explained last year also in the seminar. And it saves time for me, it saves time for the client, and the result is there. And for me, I think a lot of therapists are still seeing therapy as it needs to be 1 hour. For me, people are actually not paying for my 1 hour, they are not paying for my time, they're paying me for a result. And if I can reach that result in 5 minutes or in half an hour, I will just use whatever I need to get the result.
This efficiency is one of the things I like about your method. You know, I like doing therapy, but when I do my seminars, I can't do an hourly regression session,
Mm.
or sometimes it's longer during my lunch break. So I haven't done sessions in my seminar time for quite a while. And that's a pity. And after being in your seminar, I worked with the method, with Jeffrey Stevens protocol, 20, 30 minutes, and with results that pleased me. So, and I'm happy to have this tool. And even if I think, or if the outcome says or suggests we need a regression session, we already have had a very effective first hypnosis session, so we can easily go into regression.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
effectiveness is wonderful.
That's the way we work a bit in my practice as well. So I have a team of hypnotherapists working for me. And I also, some of my team members also use regression, also use Simpson protocol or something to go deeper. So when it is needed, they can pull that out of their toolbox. But yeah, for a first session to start with, most of the time the Jeffrey Stevens protocol will be enough.
Wonderful. So who is the seminar for and who is it not for?
Actually, the seminar is for every hypnotherapist that wants to get an extra tool in his toolbox, something that makes life easier. One of the things that the feedback that I get a lot, and that I also got last year in Germany, from seasoned hypnotherapists who are in the business for many years, doing therapy for a long time, the feedback I get is, where were you 10 years ago? I could have saved so much more time by using this protocol. So for everybody who wants to get results with a simple way of working, without overcomplicating, without using regression to cause all the time, because it has its place, of course, but you don't need it every single time. And a lot of therapists, that's the only thing they know. So every single time they have to do that, or other longer forms of therapy. So I think it's good to have some different tools in your toolbox, and they will be happy with this one. Of course, for who will it not be suitable? If you really want to go, if you really want to do long sessions, if you really want to dig and always analyze whatever trigger or whatever cause was the reason of this issue, then this is not for you, because it's in this type of work, it's direct hypnosis, it's one-way communication. So yeah, we're simply instructing the subconscious mind, hey mate, you did this, you did it great, but now you want something else, so start doing this, and like you said, make all the changes necessary. And so it's so yeah, if you're really into investigating, then this is maybe not for you.
What are the benefits for the students who learn this method?
Like I already said, having something in their mind that they can use every single time. So I think it's very good that you have like a structure that, so you don't have to think about your sessions anymore. And once you know this 10-step protocol, and like I said, you can adapt it to your own style, of course. Once you know this, so even when I and sometimes I have this periods when I'm not doing a session for like 3 months, maybe when I'm traveling, and even so, if somebody just say, hey Rob, I have this and this issue, with a few simple questions, and I can start without notes. I don't need to take notes anymore, because I have that already in my mind, and I can start. And I think that's one of the big benefits. And I already worked with clients with an issue that I never heard about, that I don't know anything of, but the client can tell me what the issue is, what he wants instead, and he can describe it in his own words. And I'm going to use, even if I don't understand those words, I can just use those words as a reference to the subconscious mind, and then say, you created this, now make it to this. And even if I don't get what the issue is, it will still work, because the subconscious knows what I'm talking about. So that's something that's I think the biggest benefit. And of course, especially when you're used to work with protocols that needs a lot of time, you will save a lot of time, or you can see more clients a day, or you will have more time to do other things, work on your marketing, whatever.
Other things that become easier for your students who use the Jeffrey Stevens protocol?
I think most of the especially when students are used to work with scripts or used to prepare before a session, I see a lot of students, and they want to know what the client is coming for so they can prepare. I don't do that. I don't like that, actually, because Of course, in the beginning, you can prepare yourself a bit. But there will be situations, and I had it in the past. In my first months that I was starting as a hypnotherapist, I had totally no background in therapy. So for me, it was actually good that it happened this way. So I had this client coming in. It was a referral. And I knew that it was a French speaker, but his Dutch was good enough so I could do a session in Dutch. And he came in, and in my agenda it was stop smoking, because it was a referral, and the lady who made the appointment for that guy said, yeah, he wants to stop smoking session. So the guy came in. The moment he was in my office, he says, actually, I have another issue that's much more important for me. I have erectile dysfunction. Can you work with that? I was like, okay, no worries. I asked him the questions that I needed to ask. Since I have the protocol in my mind, in my system, 5 minutes later, I did a session with him for erectile dysfunction. So I was not prepared for that. For me, it was good, because I think if I would have known that I had my first session with a sexual issue, I might have been nervous and overthinking it. Now it came out of the blue. I just started working because I have that system in my mind. So that makes it so much easier. And of course, when you are the hypnotherapist who wants to prepare everything and have the scripts ready and everything, and then your client changes his mind, you have a problem, because you're there with all your preparation for stop smoking, and now he wants to do erectile dysfunction. And I don't think that your stop smoking work will work for erectile dysfunction. So yeah, that is what makes it easy. You don't need preparation. You just can start out of the blue.
Mm. What do you think are the benefits for already successful therapists, coaches?
Having an extra tool in their toolbox, that's first benefit. Of course, time saving. And what I already seen a lot so also in Belgium, sometimes I have people joining those 2 days in my certification training, people who already are hypnotherapists for a long time. But when I travel, most of the time I'm training hypnotherapists who are already in the business, so seasoned hypnotherapists. And one of the things that I see is that during those 2 days, their confidence is also growing, because they have the feeling that they have like a structure that they can build their sessions on. And I think that's apart from the time saving and apart from the being ready out of the blue, I think building confidence is something that I see a lot after those 2 days.
Absolutely. And many therapists, hypnotherapists, want to be more confident in their work. So a lot of benefits for therapists. What are the benefits for clients, patients?
Clients, they don't have to go through the bad emotions. They don't have to go through the trauma anymore, especially when you work with phobias or whatever. So in this work, you never lead them back to whatever was the trigger event so I think that's the biggest benefit for the client, and of course it's also for the client. It's a shorter session because I also experience this with clients, especially clients who were already in therapy for their issue for a long time. They are a bit tired of going to a therapist and sit there for an hour, and they don't have to. Some people, of course, they want to tell their history again, but a lot of my clients, they are tired of explaining for the 100th time what their issue is or what the history of their issue is. So it's a benefit for them. They don't have to relive the situation, and they don't have to tell their entire life story to me.
Since you instruct the subconscious mind what it needs to do to solve the problem, you said you can work with any problems. Are there experiences? Can you say for which problems does your method show the strongest effects based on your experience?
Oh, it depends a bit. I had success stories in all different types of sessions. I would not use it for things like depressions and things like that. You can work on a part of certain fragments of how they feel, but it's not like you're going to tell the subconscious mind, hey, he has a depression, now fix everything so there's no depression anymore. That's a bit too easy. That's not how it's going to work. But of course you can work on little parts of let's say that person, because of the depression, doesn't have any energy to take action in their life. You can work on that. But I don't think it's suitable just for those more complex issues. So I would not go not use a shortcut and just say fix the depression. I don't think that's for some of the things. It's sometimes it depends a bit on the goal, of course. Sometimes I use another technique, a technique that we sure are going to discuss, because we will do that seminar as well this year. So symbology or something, or black room, and it's more for athletes. So then I would use another technique. But in general, if you, and I think that's important, if you use the protocol correctly, it can have success in every type of issue.
It's a closed system. It's not a lot of techniques, and sometimes students ask before the seminar, is there one technique or intervention do we learn that I can apply immediately after the seminar? What is your answer?
The thing is, when you see the 10 steps of the Jeffrey Stevens protocol, even when they don't use the protocol, they can take little things out of the protocol and implement it in their own work. For an example, when I do a session, whether it's a virtual gastric band or a session where I use other techniques, when I work with golf players, for example, I have a lot of techniques that I created myself to use with golf players, but I will still use most of the steps of the Jeffrey Stevens protocol just for myself, to have that structure, so I can fully focus on my client. So for example, the boilerplate, one of the steps that's in the Jeffrey Stevens protocol. So even when I do entertainment hypnosis, when I teach street hypnosis, I will always teach them that part. So the boilerplate is something that you can take out of that Jeffrey Stevens protocol and use in whatever other system that you're using, whatever other protocol, because it will make your sessions so much better.
Yeah. You test for compliance, for instance, very effectively, shortly, 2 little tests for compliance, then the rapid induction you can take out, then the deepening is great, and for instance, the part for boosting self-confidence, etc. So I think you can use the whole system, and yes, you can select part.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah, correct.
What do other therapists, hypnotherapists, say when they see you working, and when they see the effects?
Most of the remarks that I get is about my short sessions, of course. So the thing is, you have to see it like when you see Jeffrey Stevens do a session. So in the seminar, I will show some videos, and people will get access to more videos also. When you see Jeffrey do the session, it will last about 15 to 20 minutes. When I do the session, especially when I do it in Dutch, it's 8-9 minutes. At the moment, also when I do it in English, it's getting to 9 to 10 minutes, because I speak fast. That's the moment, and the moment I start hypnotizing, I get into my flow, and one of the questions I get a lot, especially from newbies or from seasoned therapists that have a total different style. They said, "Do we have to speak that fast?" I said, "No. You don't have to do that. You just have to do it in your own style, in your own way. But
Be yourself.
I'm an entertainer. And the moment I'm into my hypnotic person, then I speak a bit faster. Then at the moment, I'm playing around with speaking sometimes a bit slower, but it depends. For example, when I do the passing through the zero, because I want to build it up, in my mind it has to go crescendo. So yeah, there is I put a lot of emphasis in my voice, but also in my movements, and then of course it will build up the pace of my speech also. So that's what sometimes at conventions I travel a lot for conventions to be a presenter. Some of those conventions I have nicknames like or the one session guy or the fast not the fastest in like inductions also, but also in therapy. So sometimes I get referred to like that, like, oh, that's the guy that does a session in 8 minutes, and then so yeah, sometimes I get introduced like that. So a lot of my colleagues are sometimes really surprised on how I can do a session in only 8-9 minutes.
What do the students after the seminar, what's the most common feedback you get?
The most common feedback is I should have learned this much sooner. That's the most common one. And then of course the feedback I get right after the training, that's the most common. But a lot of people also contact me afterwards to ask a question or something. Also, a lot of the students from last year in Germany, some emailed me, asked to ask a few more questions. And the feedback I always get also in those type of emails is that they are using it, and that it made their life much easier, much simpler. And that's actually the goal that I want to. That's actually my goal to make life of hypnotherapists as simple as possible, but also as effective as possible.
Mm-hmm. And in the seminar, what is the relationship between theory, practice, demonstrations, questions, answers?
It's a very hands-on seminar. So I will give a bit of introduction on how this protocol is set up, and then we start. And I'm going to demonstrate the steps and explain the steps, and then we're going to practice, and then we're going to add another step: demonstration, explanation, practice, and so we go on until we cover the entire protocol. And then, of course, and we will end the second day with a full session. So people will do a full session with each other. I will demonstrate a session, and my goal, and I did it also last year in Germany. I try to find somebody with an issue that I don't have in my video library yet, because also, and I want to show to the students that I don't have any more information than what they will hear. So I will find somebody and I will say to that person, you don't have to tell me anything. We just select what topic, but I don't need anything else. I will ask you the questions in front of the class so everybody can see how I work with the client. Client comes in, I ask those questions, and I start doing my session. So there will be a full live session. And I will show them 2 full sessions that were videotaped when Jeffrey Stevens was the last time, a few months before he died, that the sessions that he did in Belgium. So people can see how I do the sessions, how Jeffrey did the sessions. They understand that it's the same protocol, but and then they can see that you can do it in 2 different ways, because I use the same steps, but in my way. Jeffrey does the same steps in his way, and they can do it in their way. And I think so it's a lot of practice. So we will actually make sure that they will learn step by step, and at the end they will have the full protocol in their system. And then of course they need to go and practice it and use it in the therapy room.
Mhm. So the students will learn the steps and build on what they have learned until they apply do the full session.
Yeah.
And so they know how to do it. They know, and another benefit is they have the advantage of getting a session.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. A lot of students get rid of issues during this seminar. Yeah, that's another benefit. Yeah.
Which mistakes do students avoid after the seminar?
Which mistakes do they? The mistake is not using it. No, what I mean is a lot of students, they go to a seminar and then they don't use it immediately. It doesn't need to be, they don't need to replace whatever they're using with this protocol, but they have to give it a chance. But if they don't use it, then it never becomes second nature, and it needs to become second nature. So your congruency is really important. So what I always suggest to my students, even if they don't want to use it with their clients immediately, and I totally get that they first want to be good at it and then use it with the clients. What I always suggest is, even if you don't want to use it with your clients immediately, make sure that you keep doing it. And the moment that you feel it's second nature, start using it with your clients. Because when you do a seminar and then you wait for 3 months to start using it, then you have to start from scratch again. So I think that's the most common mistake. And for newbies, of course, your students are not newbies; they're already in the business. But for, let's say, there's somebody who's really a beginner, then I think it's really important, because the more you postpone your first session, the harder it will become, because it's getting, there will always be a first time. There will always be a first client, but also be a first time that you have a certain issue. You can be a therapist for 3 years, and then for the very first time, somebody presents you an issue that you've never done before. So it's another first time. So there will be a lot of first times. So don't wait until you think, okay, now I can tackle it. No, start, because hypnosis is not a theory profession. It's a do profession. You have to do it as much as possible to become a good hypnotherapist, and I think that's really important.
Yeah, and since you have done the session at the end of the seminar, and you have the 10 steps, your notes, then it's easy to do another session. If you wait for a week or 2 weeks, then getting into the background.
Yeah, I had feedback from students from last year in Germany, and they sent me. I went home after the seminar. The day after, I had clients, and I immediately start using it. So, and that's actually the way to do it. Yes. To get it in your system and to become good at it. Yeah.
Rob, if you could promise the students one thing, what they will definitely be able to do after the seminar, what would it be?
Hypnotize with confidence. That will be something, or do hypnotherapy with confidence. Not only hypnotize people, but actually, or what I prefer to call it, change work. In my mind, it's more like change work than actual hypnotherapy. It's more change work. You're gonna change somebody with a short session to a new positive goal in their life.
And if somebody, after all this information, still is undecided, what would you say to him? One sentence.
I would say they can. I think, just if you're into change work, if you're into hypnotherapy, I would say give it a chance, sign up, and you will be happy. I after this train, not every single student that I trained all around the world is using the protocol for now. But I'm sure around 80% of the people that I trained all around the world are using it. Maybe not as their first protocol, but they are still using it, even when they are seasoned regression therapists. A lot of the people, like you gave the example of the person who introduced me to you, Sean Michael Andrews. I did the training in his school in Augusta a few years ago, And for like when he has now a stop smoking client or something like the more simpler things, instead of what he did in the past using regression to cause, he uses this now. Why overcomplicate it if it's not necessary? So even if they and the good thing is, what I think it's very important is, and that's also a mistake that a lot of people sometimes make, they think that they have to be a copy of me or a copy of Jeffrey Stevens. And I think that's the biggest mistake. And I always give them the example of virtual gastric band. I'm a virtual gastric band teacher for Belgium and the Netherlands, and I use the Sheila Granger protocol. But if you see a demonstration of Sheila doing the virtual gastric band, and you see myself doing the virtual gastric band, it's miles apart in the way that we do our session. But we both have great results with it because I do it in my way and she does it in her way. If we have to switch that, if I'm forced to do it in her way and she's forced to do it in my way, we will not have results because that doesn't fit our style. And I think that's really important. So and even if they only take out a few parts of the protocol, they will be happy. So that's something that I can guarantee them. First of all, they will have 2 days of fun because yeah, it's a fun seminar as well. They will enjoy their time. They will get more confident. They will learn a very effective and easy to learn protocol, and they will be able to apply it in their own way.
Wonderful. And be authentic is the most important thing.
Yeah, I think so. Really important. Really important.
The technique. Okay.